Céad Míle Fáilte. Welcome to the Treasure Tales of Ireland, a place where you can listen to the many myths, legends, folk tales and fairy tales of the Emerald Isle, helping to keep the stories of the past alive. My name is Mylinda Butterworth, and I will be your teller of tales. I hope you'll join me each week for new stories, and if you enjoy my work, then please comment, subscribe, and like so you don't miss an episode. Additionally, be sure to explore our other story collections for more tales. Now, before we begin, please note that if you are using the closed caption feature of this video, that many Irish names may not sound the way they appear, and we have made every effort to pronounce them correctly. Now let's get started. Today, we continue with the Book of the Fianna, Huntings and Enchantments, with the story of the Shadowy One, Part 10 of 14, Episode 48. And indeed, Finn had no great luck in going to look for a wife that time, and he had no better luck another time he asked a wife from among the Sidhe, and this is the way it happened. It was on the mountain of Bearnas Mor he was hunting, and a great wild pig turned on the hounds of the Fianna and killed the most of them. But Bran made an attack on them and got the best of it, and the pig began to scream. And with that, a very tall man came out of the hill, and he asked Finn to let the pig go free. When he agreed to that, the man brought him into the hill of the Sidhe of Glonder Ictish, and when they came to the door of the house, he struck the pig with his druid rod, and on the moment it changed into a beautiful young woman, and the name he called by her was Cumhaill, the Shadowy One. And he made a great feast for the Fianna, and Finn asked the young girl in marriage, and the tall man, her father said, he would give her to him on that very night. But when the night came on, Cumhaill asked the loan of a harp, and it was brought to her. One string it had of iron, and one of bronze, and one of silver. And when the iron string would be played, it would set all the host of the world crying, and ever crying. And when the bright bronze string would be played, it would set them all to laughing from one day to the same hour on the morrow. And when the silver string would be played, all the men of the whole world would fall into a long sleep. And it is the sleepy silver string the Shadowy One played upon, till Finn and Bran and all his people were in their heavy sleep. And when they awoke at the rising of the sun on the morrow, it is outside on the mountain of Bearnas they were, where they first saw the wild pig. Another time, Finn and the Fianna were come to a ford of the Slumber, and they sat down for a while. And as they were sitting there, they saw on the round rock up over the ford a young woman having a dress of silk and a cloak of green about her, and a golden brooch in the cloak, and the golden crown that is the sign of a queen on her head. "Fianna of Ireland," she said, "let one of you come now and speak with me." Then Shekriar Vok of the speckled shield went towards her. "Who is it you are wanting?" he said. "Finn, son of Cumhaill," said she, and Finn went over to talk with her. "Who are you?" he said, "and what is it you are wanting?" "I am Daireann, daughter of Bodb Dearg, son of Bodb," she said, "and I am come to be your bride if you will give me the bride gift I ask." "What bride gift is that?" said Finn. "It is your promise," said she, "I to be your only wife through the length of a year, and to have the half of the time after that." "I will not give that promise," said Finn, "to any woman of the world, and I will not give it to you," he said. On that, the young woman took a cup of white silver from under a covering and filled it with strong drink, and she gave it to Finn. "What is this?" said Finn. "It is a very strong mead," said she. Now, there were bonds on Finn not to refuse anything belonging to a feast, so he took the cup and drank what was in it, and on the moment he was like one gone mad, and he turned his face towards the Fianna, and every harm and every fault and every misfortune in battle that he knew against any one of them, he sprang it on them, through the mad drunkenness the young woman had put on him. Then the chief men of the Fianna of Ireland rose up and left the place to him, every one of them setting out for his own country, till there was no one left upon the hill but Finn and Caoilte. And Caoilte rose up and followed after them, and he said, "Fianna of Ireland," he said, "do not leave your lord and your leader through the arts and the tricks of a woman of the Sidhe." 13 times he went after them, bringing them back to the hill in that way. And with the end of the day and the fall of the night, the bitterness went from Finn's tongue, and by the time Caoilte had brought back the whole of the Fianna, his sense and his memory were come back to him, and he would sooner have fallen on his sword and got his death than have them stayed living. And that was the hardest day's work Caoilte ever did, unless the day he brought the flock of beasts and birds to Tiawer to ransom Finn from the High King of Ireland. Another time, Mare, wife of Bersa of Bearnas, fell in love with Finn, and she made 9 nuts of sugar with love charms, and sent them to Finn, and bade him eat them. I will not," said Finn, "for they are not knots of knowledge, but knots of ignorance, and it is not known what they are, unless they might be an enchantment for drink and love." So he buried them a foot deep in the earth. And here is where I end my tale for today. But I'll be back with more tales, many more tales. Until then, my friends, enjoy the journey. Slán fall. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this story, please give us a thumbs up and comment. It truly helps us.